What's up, you guys? Welcome back to JSig Poker, where I bring you guys tips, tricks, and strategies on how to make more money at PLO. If you guys want to learn how to play, hit that like and subscribe button, because I'll bring out videos every single day on hand reviews and different strategies. And if you guys want to play in a very fun club, hit me up on Instagram at Acoustic Shredder. They got anywhere from low stakes to high stakes, no limit, and PLO. Games are running every single day on the GGA app. All right, now let's get into it. Today I'm going to review the high stakes PLO cash game with Tom Dwan, Nick Arabal on Hustler Casino. This was a wild game, so let's get into it.
Oh, that's illegal. It's verbally binding. He said half of what he has left is what he said. To be very clear.
Yeah, so that's exactly right.
No, half of what I have left is 25,000.
Yeah, 10 plus 25.
50,500.
35.
I think he's supposed to raise 25 total.
All right, I think this is like a double, triple straddle.
I can't make it 250.
I believe Professor limps in with King, Queen, Jack, 8 triple suited. Not a very good hand, especially in a bloated pot, you guys. If you call and someone raises, you're going to be dominated by so many hands, plus your suits are all dead here, and the 8 is gapped, which really hurts your hand and connectivity. And as you can see, Tom Dwan raising it up with Ace, Queen, Jack, 9, which is a good hand, actually dominates Professor quite a bit.
3 minutes. I announced my action.
Have you looked at your hand, Professor?
But yeah, I mean, at this point, if you are going to limp in, you have to call just because of the equity. You're going to have plenty of equity versus almost anything. Just the problem is the future playability. And they are both very, very deep here. So it can get you in a lot of trouble if you flop anything.
I forgot, it's 250 cap, right? Okay, I forgot.
And that's what Professor is contemplating right now. He's wondering, should I even call with this pre-flop? Am I going to get into a lot of trouble? Most likely Tom Dwan's range here is going to be pretty strong. And he does decide to make the call.
How much is the bet?
And especially being out of position versus other potential players, you're going to be even in a worse spot. Nick Arabal shows up with Ace 2, 3, 9 with the single suit. Really, really bad hand here. The 2-3 is terrible for the hand. It's just so gapped. And your ace can be dominated. You can be dominated by pocket aces.
He needs a low flop.
Flop comes Queen 4-5 with 2 clubs. Tom Dwan flops top pair with a bunch of overs and outs 2-2 pair with the 4th nut flush draw. I really like this hand. Pot is $107,500. Let's see what he does here. You can go a few ways here. You can go either pot and just try and get other hands, try and get value from other hands, right? Like 4, 5, 6, 7, 5x with flush draws, single nut flush draws, or king eye flush draws. Most likely those hands won't fold, just the size of the pot. Or you can actually just check to check raise here and make it a lot easier for you on future streets. And that is exactly what Tom Dwan decides to do. And if you're Professor, pot is so bloated here. You know, you got to be a little worried at Tom Dwan potting pre-flop and then checking this board. If I was Professor, I would strongly contemplate checking here, trying to get some pot control, because you are doing very, very bad versus value hands. But he decides to pot, and Nick Arabal does go all in with his wheel draw. And now Tom Dwan, obviously having this monster hand, nothing to do but to pot and get it in versus Professor. And that's exactly what he does. And now Professor is absolutely committed at this point. Not looking good, because it looks like Tom Dwan has a really big hand. Aces with flush draws, top pairs with flush draws. He's doing really poorly against. But yeah, after getting in all this money on the flop, you just kind of got to call and pray. Which is exactly why you fold this pre-flop, you guys.
Professor.
He does decide to make the call and the pot. Yeah.
And here we go. They're gonna run it twice.
Yeah, the pot is massive here, over $500,000.
Main 4 for the size.
Tom Dwan looking really good in this pot.
Okay,
Needs an ace, deuce, 3, or 6.
Yeah, Professor's shaking his head like, what did I just do?
3 or 8. Come on.
Nick Airball doesn't give a crap. He's got a wheel. He's actually 28% favorite.
And 9 clubs.
He just can't hit a club. But yeah, Tom Dwan dominating both players in this pot.
It's big money.
It's a 600K pot.
More.
Not more.
Oh yeah.
Not even 5.
I think they're going to run it twice here, which is understandable. Want to keep the game running. Don't want to bust anyone. Especially Nick Airball, who's been on like $1 million downswing.
Everything, yeah.
All right, we're gonna run 3 times here. $560,000 pot.
Turn the 500.
Or 3 times.
4 on
Good
the
turn for Tom Dwan.
Tom Dwan. He's got top pair, top kicker.
That's me.
River's
And the river, Tom Dwan hits that as well. First board goes to Tom.
doesn't dig it out.
Unreal. How do they all have the same cards? I can't find a small card.
Says ace high. Gonna run it 1 more time. Actually, 2 more times.
Here's the second board.
Ace of clubs. That gives
Tom Dwan locks that one up as well. He's looking beautiful. He's got him drawn dead.
Airball makes the tunnel. That's the problem with the tunnel.
Last run out.
On that kind of board, your opponent should have a flush draw and a big ass pot. So, in pretty bad shape. King of
Ooh,
Hearts,
Professor
that's
gets there.
top 2
But
pairs.
still a ton of outs for Tom
One,
and Nick
pair,
Airball.
Club or an
Turn
ace.
the board, I'm good, right? Turn the board. Turn the board.
Oh, and a club. Tom Dwan scoops. 563,000. He scoops all 3 boards. Wow.
The third one, and
That
Airball
is
once
sick.
again
Tom
gets
Dwan running pure in that hand. Let's go on into the next one, you guys.
Do the side pot first, right?
All right, so we got another triple straddle or quadruple straddle to 9,500. This game is absolutely insane. Anthony limps in with 10-9-7-7, basically under the gun or the small blind. Just a really bad hand to be limping in under the gun. Yeah, sure, it's connected to the 7, but your sets can be so dead versus higher sets. The flush draw isn't good, and you can be dominated by better hands like Jack, 10, Queen, right? 10, 9, 8, Jack. A whole bunch of flops can get you in trouble. Nick Airball also another bad hand here. Queen, Jack, 9, 5 with the triple suit end gapped. Definitely a fold, but obviously they're just gambling. Wow, Tom Dwan shows up with ace, king, 10. Yeah, you can definitely do a few things here. You can either limp in or raise right now and try to get value.
And a 10K straddle, Nick Airball.
You know, if you think that nobody's going to raise behind you, I would prefer to pot this pre-flop and try to get as much money in as you can and just be able to dominate a ton of hands.
Stacking for him.
And that's exactly what he does. He makes it 51,000. Professor with an ace, king, 9, 8 with the king high suit. If this is a single race pot, I would definitely call here. But since it's a straddle plus Tom Dwan raising huge to 51,000, you really don't need to call this if you're Professor, right? You're going to run into so many hands that dominate you like we saw before. You have a king high suit. You're in between 3 players. That can really get you in a lot of trouble. You know, if this was a nut suit, I would definitely call that, but not this hand.
Professor, ace, king, 9, 8, king, 9.
If it was double suited, I would actually prefer to 3-bet that hand. If it was ace, king, 9, 8, let's say both the ace and a king was suited. Professor in some tough spots here pre-flop with his hands. But guys, this is why you always want to lean towards the conservative side.
Oh boy.
I promise you that leaning towards the conservative side, playing pre-flop and PLO is going to make you more money.
Ace, king.
I don't know why he's taking so long, though. I just don't understand why he's taking so long. I think everyone's been complaining about Professor and his tanking pre-flop.
Straddles on. Dwan pots a couple limps.
Yeah, let's just skip past this. He's taking way too long.
Didn't think at all about it.
Okay, he does finally make the fold. And Santos in there with 8-8-5-2 single suited. Really bad hand, guys. Do not try this at home. That is definitely a fold. Anthony now in a tough spot. Of course, exactly why you fold this hand pre-flop. But now that Santos is calling, you just have to call at this point. And he does make the call. With just a pot outs. Nick obviously all in. Let's see a flop here. Tom Dwan against 3 players. This is typically how it's going to go in loose PLO games, my friends. This is why you choose hands like this. Ace, King 10.
So juice, 38, 40, 120. Okay, this is it. Let's go, baby. This is the path to unstuckness.
Here we go, airball, saying his prayers.
Nick Airball playing this game like it's roulette or something. It's hilarious. Flop 7-10-2. Offsuit. Pot is $194,000. Anthony flops middle set, the absolute best possible board for him. If you're Tom Dwan, with the 10 and aces, you just have to get it in at this point and just hope someone doesn't have 2 pair. But with the stack to pot ratio, you have to get it in because there's a lot of hands you still beat, like Jack, 8-4, right? Queen, Jack, X. And you block a 10, which is great for your hand.
He's loving it, Anthony.
You could potentially get it in versus hands like 7, 6, 8.
I want everyone to die.
You know, Queen or Jack.
You know he's gonna pot it here.
Yep, and he does go ahead and pot it. I like that play from Tom Dwan.
With the set of 7s, he knows Dwan most likely has the overpair.
And obviously Anthony's loving this spot here. Just to get it in here. Don't do anything tricky. Just go all in.
All in. All the 250K cap has been reached.
Obviously.
You have a set?
This is going to be a 6.
And Tom Dwan is not gonna like the bad news.
He always has a set.
Has a backdoor straight draw.
Really has a fucking set.
What do you have, Tom?
It's an 8.
At least Nick Airball has some outs to the gut shot. He's actually a bigger favorite than Tom Dwan. Tom Dwan can only hit a running 10, king, or an ace.
Did you have ace in your hand or no? Did you have an 8?
If I'm min-raise airball, would you have
Professor.
Or a running Jack, Queen, which Airball has too, which has a Queen and a Jack. So Anthony looking like a 78% favorite here to lock this up. $592,000 pot. He's supposed to win about 80% of this in the long run.
the guy says 10, 9, 7, 7.
One suit.
Turn is a 4. Doesn't help anybody. Anthony's a 92% favorite to lock this up.
I need an 8.
And River is a 3. He scoops that. He takes that one.
Professor, this is a call to gut shot.
Must be nice, Anthony. Must be nice.
Well, I'm not doing much better, Professor. Go to board.
Queen.
All right, so Tom Dwan gets a little help. Nick Airball gets a little help as well, turning the open-ended, but they both have each other's outs, which is not very good. Anthony's still 80% favorite to win the second board.
The river.
This is me. It's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. Yes.
And the deuce comes, and Anthony scoops it for $592,000. Wow, this game is absolutely insane. Let's get to the next hand, my friends. Nick Airball reloads for another 60K. I mean, I hear they're paying him 40K just to play.
I think that hand.
He's under the gun with 10-10, 8-3, double suited. Guys, another bad hand. You do not want to call this unless the 3 is a 7 or a 9. Maybe even a 6 if you're in position. And you know, the reason why is because it's so gapped. And the suits are not even good either. You can easily be dominated. Tom Dwan limps in with ace-5, 5-4 from the cutoff. Yeah, you can do that, or you can even raise. The problem with raising, if it is a bloated pot and someone does 3-bet, you're not going to be able to realize all that equity. You're going to have to fold a ton of flops unless you smash it. So I do like calling in, limping, and playing a small pot here. If you hit a 5 and a flush draw, you are golden.
Sometimes you get it in really good.
Marius getting a little frisky here, out of position from the small blind with 10-8, 5-9, double suited. GTO wise, this is definitely just a call and complete, because you're out of position, you have a gap 5, and you have weak suits. Plus, your straight draws are not going to be very good. You know, versus hands like 10 Jack Queen King, 8 9 10 Jack, 9 10 Jack Queen. Santos makes the call, pretty standard in a loose game. Yeah, I don't mind it at all. Although you would prefer the 4 to be a 5. But we are going to a flop 4 ways, and the flop comes 8 6 5. Offsuit. Marius flops bottom pair, or bottom and top with the gut shot, so not a bad board. Yeah, I do like the check here, just to play a little pot control. Don't want to bet and get jammed on. Then you wouldn't be doing very good versus sets or straights, because anyone who does have a straight, they're going to block your outs, right? Santos with a straight, don't mind him leading out here at all, although I would... Yeah, especially if you think a lot of people are going to check back. So I do like the bet. He's got 2 backdoor flush draws, which helps his equity. So he bets rather large here. If you're Tom Dwan, not a good spot, but with bottom set, you are live to hit, you know, potentially do well and hit a boat. I don't think you can fold at this point, especially being on the live stream. That would look super nitty. If you think someone is super tight and the range is at least sets or straights, then you can definitely fold. Make a conservative fold there. Marius, just having the odds, I don't think you can fold here. Top and bottom with the backdoor flush draw and the gut shot straight draw to the nuts. I do like the call. Turn is a deuce of clubs, which is great for Santos. I would expect him to continue betting on this board, and I would bet rather big to charge sets. So I'd probably make it anywhere from 50 to 60,000. He actually pots. In a super loose game where if you think people are going to call you down with sets and never going to fold, I don't mind it. Although I would prefer to bet half pot or close to it to try and get value from 2 pairs like Marius' hands or sets, because you're doing very well against those hands. Tom Dwan here left in a really tough decision. You can only boat up. You're not getting enough odds to boat up, so I would prefer a fold here. But he is on live stream and he doesn't want to look like a nit, so I don't mind him calling in his specific situation. And he does.
He is, in fact, going to call here.
Yeah, you got to donate a little back, right?
I see a river. If he fills up, I expect him to just jam.
Now Santos most likely knows Tom Dwan has a set at this point. Worst case scenario, a straight, so chopping. But he most likely doesn't have 7-9, or else he probably would have rejammed on the flop. And now Santos is going all in here. And if you're Tom Dwan, you got to ask yourself, what do you beat? There are no bluffs on here. There's no draws. It's a lockdown board. That being said, anything that Santos is betting for value, Tom Dwan is going to lose against.
is that when you play a big pot with
He's got to think that Santos has a hand like 7, 7, 8, Jack, pocket, just naked pocket sevens, like 7, 7, 10, 10. Even if Santos did c-bet the flop with a draw like 3, 4, you know, deuce 3, 4, 5, you know, a low wrap, he gets there now on the turn, and you block those hands. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what Tom Dwan is thinking in this pot. I feel like he just wants to donate back to this game.
What did I say? Do you remember?
And he does make the call, makes that donation. And he's not even worried about it. Yeah, that's Tom Dwan. Gotta get back, right guys? Gotta get back. It's an investment. It's an investment. But next hand, we get another quadruple, quintuple straddle to 9,500. I think it's automatically pot, right? Anthony limps in with ace, king, queen, jack, single suited. Yeah, I don't mind limp re-raising here. Nick Arable with a really good hand with ace, 10, queen, 9. Definitely just a pot here with your stack. I would expect him to fully do so.
Trying something new.
And he min raises, which is pretty hilarious. Charles goes all in with ace, king, 9, 6, single suited. I don't even mind it versus Nick Airball, who's just super, super loose. Charles just gambling, right, with that stack size. And now if you're Anthony, you're loving it. This is just a 100% limp pot, get it in, versus two loose players, such as Nick Airball and you know, the other player that just went in there. But yeah, guys, this is definitely a hand you can mix into your limp re-raising range if you had a very, very loose aggressive table and the stack sizes, you know, are going to help you do that. Right? That way you don't raise pre-flop to like 20, 30,000, a bunch of people call you, and then you just miss the board a whole bunch of times. Whereas if you limp re-raise pre-flop, you get most of your money and good. And you can just get it in profitably on a ton of boards. Santos in there with 10, 9, 7, 4, playing the good old Santos. Anthony, I would assume, going all in. Yeah, I think he repotted it to like 240 or something, 250. Yeah. And Santos now going to gamble it up here. I love it. Guys, don't try this at home unless you are a millionaire like Santos and don't care. But the funny thing is that Anthony, Nick Airball, and Charles are all saving each other's cards, which is why Santos is actually 25% in this pot. Yeah, I think they're all in pre-flop. This game is insane. But you know what, you guys? Even if you do get it in with a hand as good as this, ace, king, queen, jack, look, he's only a 2% equity favorite versus everyone. There's going to be a ton of variance. There's going to be a ton of pots that you do lose in these crazy games. But the good news is that when you do win and run hot, you can easily win a massive hand. First board comes ace, 3, 4. Santos flops mid-pair with a flush draw. He's actually looking gold. Turn 8 of spades doesn't help anyone. Anthony's still looking pretty decent here.
3% to win it. Comes the river. 3 on the river.
River's a 3, so Anthony and Charles are going to chop that one. Nick Airball's pretty much dead.
Takes a hit. Poor Santos.
Jacks.
Comes the flop once again.
Jacks, baby.
Flop Jack 5-5. Very, very good flop for Anthony. He's got top pair. He's a 75% favorite to win this board. But anything can happen on the turn. Turn is a 7. So now Santos actually hits a gut shot. He can also hit a 7 to win. But he's only at 4%. Anthony looking really good. Ooh, River is an 8. Santos gets there with the gut shot, and him and Anthony and Charles all take a piece of that board, whereas Nick Airball continues to lose another 50 to 60K.
Santos and Nick Airball chop it up.
But yeah, Anthony wins 70 grand, Santos wins 70 grand. Insane game, guys. So that is my hand analysis for that PLO high stakes cash game. If you guys like that video, hit that like and subscribe button, because I bring you guys tips, tricks, and strategies on how you guys can get better and hopefully make more money. And again, if you guys want to enter that club I was telling you about, games are really good. They go all day, all night. Just hit me up on Acoustic Shredder on Instagram. And until the next video, peace out, you guys.